Spider-Man: No Way Home is here. And after the events of Far From Home, Peter Parker finds himself in desperate need of some serious help. So he asks the one person who might just be able to help him, Doctor Strange. However, when a spell goes wrong, things take a turn for the worst as some very familiar faces from other universes arrive. Mysterio made it personal. In the last movie, we saw Mysterio sacrifice himself by revealing Peter Parker's identity to the whole world. And in doing so, he destroyed Peter's life. Now Peter needs help, but he doesn't know who to turn to. He asks MJ if she still has that Daily Bugle article with all of the info about Doctor Strange. Then he heads to Doctor Strange's New York sanctum. The Sorcerer Supreme isn't too happy to see him though, but Peter explains his situation and begs for help. So Strange offers him a solution. With a little magic, he can make the world forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Strange opens a portal to the mirror dimension to gather the mystical components needed for the spell. But before they can begin, Mysterio's holographic drone shows up and threatens to expose them both unless Strange casts the spell. Strange gets angry and attacks the drone, but this ends up breaking his focus. The spell goes awry, and it creates rifts in the space-time continuum. Creatures and beings from different dimensions start pouring out of the cracks. The first person to come through is the Green Goblin. Strange quickly sends him to the mirror dimension, but more interdimensional rifts continue to open. And even worse, Peter's spidey senses aren't going off. That means that he isn't getting any warning when these new threats are about to come through the cracks. Strange makes another attempt at the spell, but this time he tells Peter that he needs his help. And suddenly, Dr. Octopus comes crashing through the portal. Things get bad enough that Strange and Peter have to work together to stop Doc Ock. They successfully banish him to the mirror dimension, along with the Green Goblin. Next, they face off against Elektra. But once again, Strange and Peter team up to send him away. Next, Peter sees a crocodile-like monster and tries to fight it. But Strange warns him not to do anything rash. Peter ignores him and attempts to send the creature to the mirror dimension. But instead, he brings it right inside the sanctum. It's actually the lizard. But before they can do anything about it, Sandman comes barreling through a crack in space-time. Stranded in a world he doesn't know, Peter finds himself in a position similar to the one he was in at the end of Spider-Man 2. And that is all the motivation he needs to get things back on track. Peter takes charge and helps Doctor Strange banish Elektra, the lizard, and Sandman to the mirror dimension. Then he realizes that Strange is hurt, and helping him is the only way to finish the spell. Together, they cast a final spell, and it works. All the interdimensional rifts close except for one. And then Peter knows exactly who or what is coming through it. Now, Strange steps aside, believing that Peter can handle this. And with that, the Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Electro, and the Lizard step out. These supervillains are actually from Peter's universe, but they were all erased from existence thanks to the spell. But Strange made a mistake. He didn't completely remove their consciousness, and so they're back, and they're looking for revenge. The Goblin throws a pumpkin bomb at Peter and Strange, but they dodge it, and the bomb hits the side of a building, causing it to collapse. Strange tells Peter that he needs to fix this mess, and then disappear. So Peter suits up and takes on the villains. While he's able to hold his own, he's not able to defeat them because of their combined strength. He's eventually forced to retreat to the roof of the nearby church, and there he runs into a man covered in bandages. The man removes his hood and reveals that he is indeed the Mysterious. He also mentions that he's the one who sent the Goblin after Peter. Peter tells him that he just wants to go home, but Mysterio says that he can't do that because the Goblin wants to kill him. And he has every right to since he destroyed his life. With no other options, Peter agrees to take on the Goblin, Electro, Doc Ock, and the Lizard all at once. He fights them across New York City using all of his skills and abilities. At one point, he even teams up with Doctor Strange, but it still isn't enough. The villains seem unstoppable until Strange suggests an idea. He tells Peter that he should look inside the villains and try to understand what's making them act this way. And that's when Peter realizes that they aren't villains at all. They're just people who were treated badly and then given powers they didn't ask for. Realizing that these people are simply victims themselves, Peter is filled with compassion. He heals Electro, who turns out to be Max Dillon, just a guy who wanted to do good but ended up being used by the Goblin. He calms down the Lizard, who is actually Dr. Curtis Connors, a scientist who just wanted to save his son. He reaches out to Sandman, whose real name is Flint. He was just a construction worker who got caught in a storm and gained powers as a result. And finally, he helps Dr. Octopus, whose real name is Dr. Otto Gunther. He was dying, and Peter reminded him of his daughter, and so he promised to help her. As Peter is healing everyone, the goblin watches him and becomes sad. He remembers a time when he was happy and wasn't driven by anger and hate. But then he remembers how Uncle Ben died and how he blamed Spider-Man for it, and that's what turned him to the dark side. But before he can hurt Peter, Peter comforts him and reminds him that he's a good person. But unfortunately, it's too late. The goblin dies, leaving behind nothing but a pumpkin-shaped device that allows the others to return home. Peter says goodbye to Doctor Strange and returns to his own world. He finds MJ and tells her that he'll always love her. And she admits that she loves him too. But despite their relationship not working out, Peter knows that he will always care about her. He returns to his Aunt May and reveals that he is Spider-Man. She knew all along, and she admits that she never told him, because she wanted him to enjoy being a kid for as long as possible. Back at school, Peter sees Ned and tells him that he's sorry for everything that happened. But Ned assures him that everything's fine. Peter then walks over to MJ, and she tells him that she's proud of him. She's the one who made the Daily Bugle article that revealed his identity to the world. But it wasn't her fault. It was Mysterio's. And she tells him that she believes him and she knows that he's Spider-Man. In the post-credit scene, we see that Doctor Strange is now living in a world without Spider-Man. But it looks like someone else has taken his place. There's a brand new superhero in town. Now, what did you think? Was Spider-Man, No Way Home, worth the wait? Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe for more updates.